Alright, this is from Test 2 review for Math 060, and we're doing numbers 22, 23, 24, and its add or subtract is indicated. With these problems there's fractions, so the first thing we have to remember is when you have fractions and you're adding and subtracting, you have to find a common denominator. Once you've found the common denominator, then you follow the rules for adding and subtracting integers. So we work on step 1, which is finding a common denominator. The common denominator between 8 and 4 is, the first thing we look at is the larger denominator. Is that a multiple of 4? It is. So that means 4 goes into 8. 4 times 2 is 8. So we don't have to change the 1/8. We only have to change the 3/4 to 8ths. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to keep the negative 1/8, and I'm going to work horizontally because I don't have enough room to work down. So I'm rewriting this one, and we're going to add, but I'm going to change this 3/4 to so that it's 8ths. So I multiply each number, the denominator, by 2 to get that 8, and then the numerator has to be multiplied by the same number, so then I get 6/8. So we're adding not 3/4 but 6/8. We're making it so that we can add. Alright, now we just follow these rules. We've got a negative and a positive number. So we look at this rule, adding numbers with different signs. Find the difference between those numbers. Okay, remember you're taking it out of context, so the difference between, let's go ahead and type it just like before. The difference between, and this is all you're doing, ignoring negatives and positive, between just the 1 and the 6, between 1 and 6. And that is because when you're adding and subtracting fractions, after you've already changed that denominator, all you're dealing with is numerator. You're not going to be adding the denominator. So you're really just finding the difference between the numerators. So the difference between 1 and 6 equals 5. Alright, remember, we're not worrying about which came first. We're not worrying about the negative sign. Oops, we're not worrying about which came first, 1 or 6, or the negative sign over there. We're just finding that difference between 6 and 1. So that's 5. And now we have that. Now we have to decide the sign that that 5 will have, and we go with the larger number. Now with fractions, a larger fraction has the larger numerator when the denominators are the same. You have to go with the one with the larger numerator. So the larger number is 6/8. Therefore, the answer is positive. So we get a positive. We use this if we lost track of what we're doing here. 5 is our new numerator because we found the difference between 6 and 1. And the answer will be positive because this is the larger fraction. So 5/8 is our answer. Okay. Now on this problem down here, same thing. We are adding and subtracting fractions, so we find a common denominator. And let's do that first. The denominators are 5 and 20. We take a look at the larger one. Is that a multiple of 5? It is. So that means 5 goes into 20. And all we have to do is change this fraction here. So we're going to start out with a change, but we'll keep the negative sign. That stays. We're changing the denominator to 20. So that means we have to multiply that by 4. If we multiply that by 4, it forces us to multiply the numerator by 4. We don't have a choice. And that will give us our new fraction. That's our negative sign. And this is kind of weird to keep track of those. Negatives and fraction lines. Alright, so 5 times 4 is 20. and 2 times 4 is 8. So we have our new fraction of negative 8/20. We are going to add, don't forget that that stays, negative 3/20. And they put that in parentheses to keep things from getting too mixed up. That's the only reason it's in parentheses. It doesn't mean absolute value or anything like that. Now we have to follow the rules of adding and subtracting integers. So we have 8/20, negative 8/20 plus negative 3/20. That is two negative numbers. So when we add two negative numbers, add the numbers, and the answer is negative. So once again, we found a common denominator. We don't add those. We just add the numerator. So that's 11. So it's negative 11 because the answer is negative. And there you go, negative 11/20. Okay, now here we're down here. We got two fractions, so find a common denominator. Once again, is 12 a multiple of 3? Yes, it is, which means 3 goes into 12. We only have to change the negative 2/3. So we keep our negative sign, and we multiply 3 times 4 to get 12. That forces us to multiply the numerator by that same number, 4. It's the only way it works. I'm using a dot for multiplication. And that gives us our new fraction of 3 times 4 is 12. And 2 times 4 is 8. Negative, so that just stayed in place, negative 8/12. And it's minus, try not to get lost in there, 1/12. Alright, so what we have is negative 8/12 minus 1/12. So we follow the rules for subtraction. In subtraction, we're changing the subtraction to addition and then following the addition rules. So when we change subtraction to addition, you simply change that sign. I'm changing now the negative sign, or the subtraction sign, to an addition, but you have to do the opposite. You have to make sure you make this an opposite of what it was. It's positive 1/12, it becomes a negative 1/12. That's the important step. So then you follow the rules of addition. Now we have addition of two negative numbers. So we follow those rules, add the numbers, and the answer is negative. We found a common denominator, so we add the numerators. 8 plus 1, which is 9. The answer is negative no matter what. And the answer is 9/12. We can reduce this answer though, just like a normal fraction. If you divide the top by 3 and divide the bottom by 3, because they are both divisible by 3, you get 3 over 4, but remember it's negative. So you have a negative, which is looking pretty scary there. A negative 3/4 is the answer to number 24.